People's lives in the simulated world are becoming more important than their lives in the real world. To exemplify this, many individuals prioritize their image on platforms like TikTok, Instagram, or Tinder over their real-life image. Another example is the makeup worn by women, creating a fictitious beauty. You might see some women with makeup appearing extraordinary, but when they remove it all, they become entirely different human beings. In fact, women are skillful at using camera angles, cosmetic, and other techniques to enhance their appearance beyond reality. As long as they receive validation through social media, they feel content. They may be more affected by negative comments on Instagram than in the physical world. This is where the significant shift in civilization is occurring. Our virtual lives are gaining precedence over our real lives.
That's the sense you get just from me?
From your rep report analytics. If we drill down into the numbers, you have got a solid popularity arc here.
Employers analyze candidates' online activities on platforms like Facebook and Instagram to form opinions about them in the real world. Yet, one's virtual life can be entirely fabricated. It allows for the creation of false identities, fictional lives, and the utilization of professional photographers to present a more attractive version of oneself. Despite this fabrication, people tend to respect and value the virtual persona more than the genuine self in the physical world. In the virtual world, individuals who would ignore you in real life might show interest based on the photo in the Lamborghini. It's relatively easy to orchestrate such situations. One can rent or borrow a Lamborghini without much difficulty. People can create the life they desire online, attracting attention from others. This virtual life can bring new friends and conquests because, ultimately, people become more captivated by the projected image than the true essence of a person. However, most individuals are unaware of this phenomenon, mistakenly believing that the virtual world mirrors reality. Baudrillard's concept of permeability sets him apart from other philosophies, including the Matrix, where the real and virtual worlds remain separate and independent, unable to intersect. But in Baudrillard's simulated world, where he speaks of simulation and simulacra, it is precisely the permeability between these two worlds that ultimately merge and becomes one. Beyond the simulation of reality, there's a simulacra, which is in a way worse than the simulation, because the simulacra is false. The simulacra is a lie, a distortion of reality.
And now?
Holy fuck! Holy shit! Fuck, he's right. He's right. Can I? Whoa.
He's not real. He's a sort of mental projection. You can see him. I can't.
Welcome to the desert of the real.
In his book, Baudrillard also talks about the desert of real, which the movie Matrix also draws inspiration from. Morpheus wakes up Neo to the desert of reality, showing him the world outside the Matrix. The desert of real is a term used by Baudrillard in his book Simulacra and Simulation. It refers to the point where simulation becomes so dominant that it destroys the real world, causing everyone to shift towards simulation or the metaverse. Baudrillard mentioned a surrealist writer, Georges-Louis Borges, in his book on exactitude in science, which includes a short story from 1946. The story tells of an empire that creates an incredibly accurate map, eventually covering the entire territory. However, as the empire declines, the map deteriorates, crumbles, and disappears. Baudrillard explained that today it is not the map that vanishes, as in Borges' surreal tale, but rather the empire itself. Reality disintegrating while the map or simulation triumphs, completely replacing reality. The map now extends beyond representing the territory. It becomes larger and more real than the actual territory. It substitutes for the territory. This concept is what Baudrillard calls hyperreality. For instance, nowadays when we go out, we are often fixated on our GPS in the car or on our phones. Even when we walk, everyone is engrossed in their screens, trying to navigate and locate the next street or intersection. Despite reality being right in front of us, with buildings, streets and people around, we hardly interact or pay attention. Street signs, intersections and landmarks no longer capture our gaze. Instead, we rely on our phones and GPS, trusting the virtual world to guide us. The map has surpassed the territory in importance. The digital dot on the GPS have become more significant than our physical footsteps. We place more trust in the map on our screens than in the actual world we traverse. The map is no longer a mere representation, it exists independently, replacing the territory itself. Who questions GPS nowadays? Who could dare challenge Google's direction? Most people unquestioningly follows Google's guidance, assuming it to be accurate, but not questioning it poses a problem. The majority simply trust what Google shows them, without considering the possibility of it being an illusion or displaying a non-existent reality. The map is trusted entirely because it has become so precise that it replaced the territory. Baudrillard's idea is profoundly powerful. If we all continue to immerse ourselves in the virtual world, what will remain of the real world? As we communicate, interact, find partners, and make friends online, and with the emergence of the metaverse, we may cease going out for coffee. Instead, we will each prepare our own coffee at home and gather around the virtual table, conversing while physically isolated in our apartment or studios. The traditional meeting spots like cafes, restaurants and public squares will lose their significance as people flock to the virtual realm, the metaverse. Real life, the physical world, will begin to fade and crumble in favor of the virtual.
Because you wear Apple Vision Pro and your eyes are covered, we engineered a system that uses advanced machine learning to represent you realistically when you're in FaceTime. Your persona dynamically reflects your face and hand movements. So when you're chatting, people see your eyes, hands, and true expressions.